Hey, what is up guys? This is FNH here, and today I am reviewing the Logitech G915 TKL. It is a keyboard, a mechanical keyboard, low profile, 10 keyless. It does not have the number pad, and yeah, I'm just going to be talking about it and my reviews on this. So this is a really nice keyboard overall. I probably would recommend it depending on what you're looking for, right? One thing to keep in mind, it is really expensive. Okay, this is probably one of the more expensive keyboards you will find on the market, right? And you know, there are some valid reasons as to why it's that expensive. But before we get into that, I'll just talk about what is included in the box. So when you unbox it, you obviously get the keyboard, and then you get a wire, right? And then with the wire, you will get this with it. Okay, so this is basically the Logitech USB hub, which if you are using a wireless, will be needed. Okay, and if you do not want to use this, you can obviously just connect this straight into the keyboard. You know, obviously that is one way to charge it, as well as just use it in general. So keeping those two aside, let's get into the main thing, the keyboard. Alright, so let's first talk about the good. Okay, so the first thing I'd like to say is I really like the build quality of this. It is made of pure aluminum frame, so it does have some good weight to it, right? It does not feel cheap at all, right? And let's turn to the back, right? So the bottom is like some kind of hard plastic. It's not aluminum all around. It's just, I guess you can, on the top and the sides, you can kind of see where it switches over here on the bottom. Alright, so that's the good. I like that it has the stands, right? It has two angles, so one at 4 degrees, the other at 8 degrees, right? So whatever your hand's comfortable with, obviously you can use that. Aside from that, this scrolling wheel over here for the volume is really nice. It's actually pretty cool and very useful. I didn't really think that it would be that useful, but you know, I did find myself changing the volume a lot, especially depending on what I'm watching on YouTube, or you know, if some other program is running. It's a really easy way, quick way. You can just kind of like, you know, just scroll. It's kind of like a scroll wheel. Okay, so that, and then overall, it's really nice. So typing on it, it's really quiet. Okay, let me just get this in focus. So it's really quiet, not like other mechanical keyboards. This one does. It is mechanical, but you know, the version it comes in a few different versions. So the one that I'm specifically using is the tactile version, right? And I don't know if you can see over here, it has brown switches, right? So I don't know if you can see it in the video, but they are brown switches. Okay, so that's the tactile version. It is also available in clicky as well as linear. Okay, and I believe in the tactile version you can get a white finish. I have the black one. I just think it looks better. So those are the main things that I really like, right? Oh, let's get into the typing. So you can see that it's not loud at all. It's actually pretty quiet, right? And the typing experience on this is probably my favorite. It's probably one of the best keyboards that I have typed on, right? It makes me type a lot faster, mainly because the keys from one key to another there's a very minimal distance, and the point of actuation is very low. So depending on, meaning to press the key, you need less force to press it and actually make a type, which overall increases the speed. Okay, so yeah, before this, I think my average word per minute was, I'm not even sure what it was, but it was probably around like 70 or something. But definitely after using this, I have seen it increased to around at least like 85. So, and that's just from switching a keyboard. So, you know, that's pretty good in my opinion. Okay, so yeah, there's no problem with that. Definitely love that. Probably one of my favorite keyboards in terms of typing. Alright, so those are all the good things. Now let's get to a few of the things that I'm not a big fan of, or I think are just not good overall. Alright, the first being that the keys are kind of flimsy. So you can kind of see when, you can shake it, each key, and it has quite a wobble. Right, so especially like, it has quite a wobble, right? It's not just like the big keys. So that I'm not a really big fan of. It doesn't really mess up the typing experience, but I just think that for a keyboard at this price, it should be more sturdy. Alright, so that's the first main thing. So that doesn't really affect anything. The second thing is, I do find, I don't know if this one is just somewhat defective or they are just like that, but I do find the keys getting jammed. So more specifically, only the control key in my case. So if I'm doing copy pasting, right, I would find the control key. So right there, you can see that it's pressed right now, but it's not supposed to be. So it just happens with this key. So I'm assuming it's not a problem overall with the keyboard. It's just maybe this one and this specific key is bad. So yeah, that's the other thing I'm not a big fan of, or I think should be changed. It should be a lot better in that sense. That it shouldn't even happen overall. All right. So those are the two main things in my opinion that are, I guess, the problems per se that I have with this keyboard. That being said, I definitely do not think that it is a deal breaker for this price point, right? So this price point is $230. Like I mentioned, you can get it on Amazon or on their official website. It's pretty much the same price. So it would only appeal to people who are looking for keyboards and high-end keyboards. So if you're not really in that range, you probably wouldn't even be looking at something like this in the first place, right? So if you are looking for something in that range, I highly recommend this one, especially since a low profile finish. It's not too loud, so if you're in an office, or at home or wherever you are, it's not going to be disturbing other people. All right, unlike some other mechanical keyboards. Okay, and oh yeah, and last but not least, the RGB lighting is really good. You can customize it to whatever you want, and you can customize it to individual keys, which is pretty interesting. You have to get their software, the Logitech. I don't know it off the top of my head, but they have their own software. You can customize the keys, right? And as far as individual keys, so I can have like the number 4 red, and then the spacebar green, escape blue. So you can do it to that much customization, which is pretty cool in my opinion. And also about the RGB, the lighting is pretty good. Let me zoom in and show it to you. So it's pretty good, but I feel like, so there are 3 modes, like, so that's off, you can turn it off. That's at full brightness, a little less, the lowest, no, this is the lowest, and then it's off. So yeah, a few things about the lighting. One is that when the lighting is off, the keyboard is kind of invisible in the sense, since the keys are black, and the keys and the letters are black on it also. So it's kind of invisible, especially if you're doing it in a low light area and you just don't want the RGB. I feel like it could be better on that sense. The other thing is the lighting is really good. One thing I noticed is when you put the lighting not at max, so let's say just one lower than max, and you're working on it from an angle, you do start to see some spots within the letters that aren't lighted evenly. Okay, so obviously you'll have this at an angle. You're not on top of your keyboard from the top, so you're going to be obviously looking at it like that, and you could see that some letters aren't lit up as brightly as other letters, or just the edges of some letters are kind of like fading out. Okay, so that's definitely not a deal breaker. You can have it to max, which in my opinion is perfectly fine in the sense of RGBs, right, displaying. So yeah, that's definitely not a deal breaker. So overall, I think it's a really good keyboard. If you are working within that price range. If this is not your price range, in my opinion, there's a lot better keyboards for a lot cheaper out there. So definitely just look at that. One last thing, this does have a micro USB connector, which I feel like is a little dated, especially since this is a $250 keyboard. I think it should have at least a USB-C. Okay, so I don't know why they didn't do that, but that's, I don't know, hopefully the next version will have USB-C. So yeah, that's basically it for my review. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. If you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.